Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with another video, and today I'll be talking about the full New York Jets schedule. Before we get started today, just want to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast, which drops every Monday. And if you haven't, check out the Just Jets Clips channel, where you could be entered to win a Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and when you're done with that, comment done under the pinned comment on the Zach Wilson expectations video. It is that simple. That is your entry, and you could win the Lawnmower 4.0, the cologne, and the weed whacker. So 3 items for literally subscribing and commenting. That takes you 2 seconds. It'd be dumb not to. So let's talk about this schedule. Preseason first, there will be 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games, and the New York Jets will be facing the Giants, Green Bay Packers, and Philadelphia Eagles in the preseason. Now, the Jets will see the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season as well, so more on that later, but 3 preseason games, 2 away. The Giants game is technically away. Green Bay on the road in the preseason, and versus Philadelphia. Probably would imagine to see a decent amount of Zach Wilson in the first 2 games, I would think. And then in the last one, maybe like a couple of drives, and then that's it. But nobody cares about the preseason anyway. You guys want to hear the regular season and my prediction. So by now, I'm sure you've seen the schedule. So I'm going to go through week to week and give my way too early predictions for what I think is going to happen, and give a final record prediction and what their record will look like in the division, home, road, versus the AFC versus the NFC. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Week 1, drama. Talk about drama. The Carolina Panthers on the road. The Jets will be taking them on a 1 o'clock game on CBS. And I think the Jets win this game. I think the Jets start out 1-0. When you look at Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Mark Sanchez, what do those 3 have in common? They all won their first starts. And I think that trend continues. The Jets cannot lose to Sam Darnold and can't let Sam Darnold play well. That would be terrible. In the grand scheme of things, it's not, because it's 1 game and who cares, but the media circus that would ensue if Sam Darnold goes off and Zach Wilson lays an egg would be unbearable. So I am praying for a Jets win, and I think they start their season out 1-0. Now, in week 2, their home opener is against the New England Patriots. This is giving me 2009 vibes, when the New York Jets home opener, after beating the Texans, was taking on the New England Patriots, and they won at home against New England for the first time in forever. And it was an insane game. The crowd was loud. They were into it. And I think Zach Wilson starts his career 2-0. I think he gets the win. I think the Jets win to get their season up to 2-0. Spoiler alert, I think they split with the Patriots, so we'll talk about that later. The Jets haven't beaten the Patriots in a while now. It's been a very long time, but I think they are due. And I don't think this is the same dominant Patriots teams that we've seen in years gone by. Yeah, they made a bunch of splashy free agent signings, but this isn't a team that I think is going to be pushing for the division or even a playoff spot necessarily. So I think the Jets have a shot, and I think, first game with fans back in the stands at MetLife, I think it matters. So 2-0, nice start for the New York Jets. In week 3, the Jets have to go on the road to Denver, and I think this is where we see the first loss. This, on paper, is a winnable game, but the Jets don't travel well to the West Coast, number 1. Going on the road, playing in Denver, isn't an easy thing to do for a rookie quarterback and rookie coach. So I think they lose this game and drop to 2-1. In week 4, you have the Tennessee Titans at home for the New York Jets, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat this team. This is a playoff team. I think they go to 2-2 after this game, and I think Derrick Henry has a big day if he's healthy at that point. But still, 2-2 to start, not too bad. Going into week number 5, where the Jets are going on the road to London to take on the Atlanta Falcons, and I have the Jets winning that game in London and starting their season 3-2, heading into the bye week in week 6. A winning record, 3-2. The Falcons defense, I'm not sold on. Offensively, they should be fine, but I see a shootout where the Jets end up coming away with the win, and I think Ulbrich being on the Jets side is going to help them mitigate some of those Falcons, that Falcons offense. Coming out of the bye in week 7, the Jets play New England on the road. Rookie quarterback, young quarterback against Bill Belichick in New England doesn't go well. Sorry, it's not going to happen. The New York Jets will fall to 3-3. Then in week 8, almost halfway through the season, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at home. I think the Jets could beat the Bengals. I think, two young quarterbacks, Wilson and Burrow, going at it. Should be an entertaining game. I don't think the Bengals are quite there yet. 4-3 after that win. To week 9 we go. The Indianapolis Colts traveling out to Indy. Indy is going to be contending in that division. I think they push for the division title. I think it's really between the Titans and the Colts. I think it's going to come down to those two teams, and I think the Colts have a really good team, and if Carson Wentz plays well, they should be solid. So I think they drop, the Jets that is, drop to 4-4 at that point through 8 games. In week 10, back home against Buffalo, I don't think the Jets are going to match up well against this Buffalo Bills team, so I have the Jets losing. I think they get swept by them, spoiler alert. So they fall to 4-5 after week 10. Then Miami at home, I think they split with Miami as well. So that gets you up to 5-5. You're back to 500, sitting at 5 wins through week 11. Not bad. All things considered, the Jets still very much so in the mix going into week 12. Exciting stuff. And in week 12, the Jets will be taking on the Houston Texans. And again, I don't think Houston's going to be good, but I think this is a tough game for the Jets to go on the road and beat a team like the Houston Texans, or really I don't give the Jets the benefit of the doubt on the road. I understand it's a new quarterback. I understand it's a new coach, but trends, this happens every year. Teams beat teams they're not supposed to beat. Teams lose to teams that they're not supposed to lose to. I'm sure a lot of Jets fans are seeing Houston on the schedule and saying, easy win, check. But going on the road, Houston fans are probably saying the same thing about the Jets. So you got to look at it through both sides. I have the Jets dropping to 5-6, but getting back to 500 the following week when they take on the Philadelphia Eagles at home. So the Jets will be 6-6 through week 13. The final 5 games are pretty tough for the New York Jets when you look at the schedule. In week 14, they're playing New Orleans, and I understand it's not the same Drew Brees-led New Orleans Saints, and the Saints aren't that same team outside of the Dome, but I just don't think they are on par for the talent that is on that roster. So even still, if it's Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, whoever it is at quarterback, I think they drop that game and go to 6-7 at that point. Then you have Miami on the road. After that, I don't think you're beating Miami twice. I think you split with them. Each team wins the home game, so you drop to 6-8 at that point. Week 16, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the New York Jets. That should be an entertaining one, as it's the number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 overall pick. I think the Jets could beat Jacksonville at home for sure. So I have the Jets moving up to 7-8. Then Tampa Bay comes to town. Old friend Tom Brady is back. Don't think the Jets are beating Tom Brady, so they drop to 7-9 at this point. And usually that's where the season would come to a close, but there's one more game, a week 18 against Buffalo on the road. I don't think the Jets win that one either. So 7-10 is my record through 17 games the entire season for the New York Jets. And how did that come to fruition? Well, in the division, they went 2-4. They lost both games to Buffalo. They split with Miami and New England. At home, they were solid, 5-4, not bad, but on the road, they continued to have their struggles, going just 2-6 on the road, which isn't going to be good enough. And in 2022, that has to go up, as well as probably the home record too. Against the AFC, they were 4-8, and versus the NFC, they were 3-2, getting to 7-10. And I think this team, looking at this schedule, again, it's early and things can change. I look at this team and I think they are a 6, 7, or 8 win team. If they win anything less than 6 games, I'll be a little bit disappointed. If they win anything more than 8 games, I would be surprised. That's the window that I'm looking at. So I split the difference and went with 7. I think 7-10 is pretty common for most fans. Some people I saw online are saying this team is going to win maybe 5 games. Others were very optimistic and saying 10 or 11. I think that's a massive stretch, to be honest with you guys. I love the optimism, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm going to say a building block year, jumping from 2 wins up to 7 and then being a competitive team in 2022. That's the kind of trajectory that I see. And this will be a fun 7-10. It's not going to be like a boring 7-9 Adam Gase team in 2019. They'll score points. They're going to lose games because their secondary is not great. And there'll be maybe a clunker or 2 from Wilson in the mix, I'm sure. But ultimately, I think they're going to be in most of these games. And if they go 7-10, I'll sign up for that. So let me know what you think about the schedule and the record. Drop it down in the predictions below. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, and I'll talk to you next time.